Or to computer. All right, guys, welcome to the Dad Level Podcast. This is actually a bonus episode. We want to kind of talk about the state of play that Sony just had today. Um, I have my buddy Adrian with me. He's a dad, so he fits into the category of everything, and
Yeah.
um, just kind of want to get into it. So, your thoughts?
Well, so you had the list there. We can go through. We can
Yeah,
go through each one, or we can start off with like the general thoughts on it. I mean, the general thought was kind of, I'm not excited after watching it about anything in particular.
yeah. The only thing I was excited for was really the Final Fantasy UFI,
Yeah,
and then the graphical updates for the PS5 version release in June. So, but
yeah, which is a weird thing to announce in February, like this very minor thing
yeah,
that's supposed to come out, you know, um, what, 4 more months from now?
mhm.
That's like that should have been like out tomorrow type of thing, because it's just like, 60 frames a second, maybe some, if they do the updates and things like that. And I had another topic, uh, another thing to talk about specifically with those type of things that we can talk about if we
Yeah,
get to that thing in particular.
yeah.
Get to
So, I mean, the things that kind of like stood out to me that were pretty cool that I'm looking forward to out of the list were it'd be nice to see him play Crash, and I know it's already out, but I want to play with Edward. It's something that he would get into, but I was never really a big fan of the Crash Bandicoot series. Um, After about that time, we had PlayStation. I was playing some RPGs and a lot of, I mean, what Battle Arena Toshinden and uh, some of the other fighting games and stuff. So it wasn't like one of those things that I drawn me into that series. I mean, the only like, the
Mhm,
closest I ever played really was in Uncharted 4. Whenever you play at the beginning of the game,
mhm.
but let me see. Returnal looks really good. Kind of gave me an Alan Wake kind of feel.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. I like the visual style. I'm interested in how the story is going to go with the whole, death loop. I think one of the things that I thought was interesting was how the environments change. So I guess it's kind of roguelike in a way that when you die, the
Well, before you continue,
yeah.
uh, did you want to share why you're under the bunk bed, or
Oh yeah, yeah,
is
yeah.
that too
So,
personal or whatever?
yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we're still waiting on the piping to be done in the house, and
yeah,
uh,
from the winter freeze
yeah,
in
the winter
Houston.
freeze, yeah, in Houston, and
Yeah,
pipes bursted um, throughout the house, and we're got our room kind of packed up with just stuff out of the way, so the our plumber can come in and do the things we need to do to
sure.
get working. So I'm temporarily been sleeping in here. I mean, me and my
Yeah,
wife and son have been sleeping in here, so we got a bunk bed.
yeah,
Um,
that's it. I mean, yeah, that's part of. I mean, you holding the dad thing down. I think that's important to your show. The dad
oh yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
yeah,
No, that's
you
one of the
know,
first things
you hold
I was
hold.
showing Edward some of the stuff from the videos that I thought
Yeah,
he would take a kick out of. So
yeah. But so you were saying about the Returnal and the other games there?
yeah, Returnal looks pretty good. I'm curious that if there's going to be one of those things where if you could get through the game without dying, without having
Hmm.
to reset, kind of like how one of my friends Russell used to play Ninja Gaiden Black when it came out and stuff. About he would not get any of the power ups. He would just try to beat the game with low health and everything. So,
Ah, man, that's crazy.
yeah,
That's crazy talk.
so it's kind of like that whole Dark Souls and
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but let me see. Like Knockout City.
Knockout City.
I c-
I yeah, I don't know about that one either. It just seems like another, you know, free to play fodder that's going to come out and just kind of go nowhere really.
mhm.
And
You know what?
it doesn't look that fun. I mean, I like to try them out, for a few rounds whenever one of those comes out to see, maybe I can have, get another Apex on my hands, but um, they never really turn out well.
Yeah, it gave me the feeling of like Jet Set Radio, and it made me want
Mm,
that being remade with those graphics than
sure.
playing this game. Um, I mean, I'm sure it'll be fun, but it's not something like I'll sink a whole lot of time into. I mean, my son may try it, but
Yeah.
with Splatoon 3 at some point and all that, he'll be on that more than he'll be playing Knockout City. Um, Sifu
Yeah.
looks
Well,
fun.
that would look pretty cool.
Yeah.
I really like the way that looked. Um, Over the shoulder kind of beat 'em up type thing. That looked really cool, and I like the graphical style there. And I might want to give that one a shot. If they start releasing a release video that kind of shows more of the actual mechanics. Is it just straight up A button three times type of thing, or is there some dodging, some quick times? Is there's like maybe some fighting game mechanics in there, and that'd be pretty cool. So
Yeah. If
that's
you
at least one of them that I think looks pretty good.
build up your skills, maybe
Yeah,
like Shimyu or the Yakuza series, or even like the Scott Pilgrim and River City Girls. But
yeah,
I do like the concept of you like every time you lose, you grow older. So I wonder if
yeah, yeah.
and
That's pretty funny.
but it looks cool to finally have like a beat 'em up on next gen. It's been a while since we've had a good one other than 2D.
Yeah. Other than the quite outstanding Streets of Rage 4, which
Yes.
I've finished twice now. It's really
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, and then yeah, because that's such a beautiful game as far as
Yeah,
the music and everything.
yeah.
Um, Let me see. Solar Ash looks really good.
Hmm.
Very great art style.
Yeah.
It'll be definitely one of those ones that I'll pick up and just play through and
Hmm.
experience. I didn't get to play much of Hyperlight Drift. What Hyperlight Drifter? I think it is. I think it was the game they did previously. Uh,
Okay.
but this one looked really good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know those were the same people, man.
Yeah, I think that's what they were talking about. It was the same people. So I could be wrong. I'll have to look it up, but I'll make the clarifications in the description.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still need to play Hades. So that game looks great.
Yeah.
Uh,
That one looks pretty good too.
let me see. And then there was the Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. It kind of gave me a feel of like Alien Isolation
Yeah.
kind of thing. And I'm like thinking to myself because the new movie with Nicolas Cage is like, can I play him where I'm going to go around and just terrorize them hunting me?
Yeah. Yeah. That one. I mean, I hadn't played any of those games either, but um, I think people were pretty excited about it. That do play
Yeah,
that do play that game. I hadn't played any of them.
I haven't either. There's a lot of big lore between that and all the little books and the side games and things that they've done.
Yeah.
I know my buddy Jeff and his kids love that series, so it'll be definitely right up their alley. Hopefully, it'll be one of those things that it'll be cross-platform, so he'll be able to play it on the Xbox versus having to play it on PlayStation unless he's going to get one. Uh,
Yeah.
but the graphics are good. I mean, it looked
Yeah. Well, it looks pretty
good like
cool.
a horror game. Um, and then let me see. I think it was Our World, Soulstorm.
Yeah, that's another weird looking game. Those Oddworld games, but
Mhm.
you know, it just yeah, it's just another one of those, and all of them feel like kind of the same
Yeah,
caliber of game where it's a small game and maybe not that long, but I wasn't really interested in that one either.
Yeah, I like the concept of the Oddworld games. I've only played maybe the first one on the PS1.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, the it reminds me of like um, Flashback, kind of in a way. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. Okay.
that scrolling style.
Yeah, I know that's like a long running series there, that those Oddworld games. So um I don't know. I just never got into them like since the PS1. For whatever strange reason, I always associate those games with like the 3DO or something, even though I don't even know if those were ever on the 3DO. But I feel like whenever first saw those games, it might have been like right next to somebody demoing a 3DO or something. I don't know.
I know that they were well. You got to think like what was it? Gex, and I'm thinking of like
Yeah,
back Toys R Us days when you would go over there and there would be the 3DO display and then the Sega Saturn and
yeah, yeah,
the PlayStation and be like
yeah, all that stuff.
the Panzer Dragoon demo level. Man, I played
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
that. Yeah, I don't know. The series looks cool. I know that it started in PlayStation and it moved over to Xbox, and then I think the last couple have been cross-platform as far as
Hmm.
on both, and
Yeah,
so fans of the series, I'm sure. I mean, the graphics are great, and
yeah,
the world. I mean, that steampunk alien
yeah,
vibe is pretty cool.
yeah. All that looks really pretty outstanding. Yeah,
Yeah. Um, what was it? Kinna. I didn't even write down the subtitle for that one. Uh,
yeah. I think it's like Bridge of Spirits, maybe.
yeah, that one looks pretty cool. Kind of gives me that whole vibe of like whenever the Nintendo 64 came out with Quest. You're playing this single mage and running around doing all these different things. So, uh,
Yeah,
and it
yeah. That one looks okay.
has this like the little minions or whatever, those little spirits, tree spirits or whatever, they're following you around that help you.
Yeah,
So very uh, Studio Ghibli with not Spirit Away, but Princess Mononoke
yeah.
or Pikmin for the Nintendo.
Yeah, the characters in that game look
Yeah,
really, really good, and like the animations and the graphics and all that stuff looks really, really good in that game. So that is one, I probably wouldn't mind playing right there.
yeah, definitely. Same here. Just to check it out because I mean, um, it's been a while since we've had like a good action, and it kind of reminded me too was like Dark Cloud back in the day when on the PS2.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love that game. Both one and two were great, so
yeah,
it's good to see kind of like some of that feeling from those games coming to next gen.
sure, yeah, yeah,
Uh, and then like the last before Final Fantasy was Deathloop.
definitely, yeah.
Um,
People are really excited about that game, but then again, another one that I'm probably not going to play. Like I played the first Dishonored game,
mhm.
and I can't even remember if I really liked it. And then like a couple of hours into the second one, and I didn't really follow through with finishing that one. So, and a lot of people like that second one, and I want to give that one another shot. But a lot of people are excited about that one because they're from the same developers. But
Yeah,
I don't know if I'll play that one either.
same thing. I mean, it looks fun. I mean, I like the idea of you're stuck in this like kind of like Groundhog's Day kind of thing, and you're trying to stop whatever's going on and people killing you while you're taking out
Hmm.
your target. Uh,
Yeah,
kind of what was that movie? Lucky Slevin. I
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it would be. I mean, it's probably worth a play. I mean, it's not like we can
Hmm.
rent stuff like we could back in the day. It's like I'm on the fence. I don't know if I want to play this or not. So
Sure, sure.
it's like you really got to put it in or check with your friends who bought it. And hopefully, maybe they didn't buy it digitally.
Yeah, yeah. And
So
pass it around and see. Yeah,
yeah. Um, I want to think that there was something else, but I think I got everything written down. And then Final Fantasy VII remake integrated.
Hmm.
is the title now for the PS5 release of it.
Yeah.
I was most excited about that. That was the biggest thing that was like I actually felt real emotion for while I was
Yeah. Yeah.
this. I love the fact of like the textures, all the little the fog, the lighting, the being able to switch between. I kind of hate that really. I hate being able to have to sacrifice the 4K
Yes.
performance.
Yes.
It's ridiculous that we shouldn't be.
That was, yeah. Yeah,
That's
go ahead and elaborate on that, because that's exactly what I wanted to talk about, that I was referring to as
you know,
well.
if we were on this, it was on PC, we wouldn't have to do that. I mean,
Hmm.
the system was powerful enough. You should be able to tweak it out as much as you want. But and
Yep.
this is not being like PC versus console master race. I mean, most of these consoles
Hmm.
are just as better than just as good or better than some of the PCs that are out there that you could buy without making and upgrading to the point you want them. But the limitation that just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Um, I hope that maybe down the road when there's new firmware and stuff that they remove that. That's one of the things um, like ray tracing and all that stuff for like Spider-Man. I saw people playing Miles Morales and stuff on the PS5, and you can switch between stuff, so you can either see the reflection or have good performance of. And it's like that's a hard sacrifice. I want to be able to have it
Yeah.
all. Um,
Yeah. That's exactly right. And everything you said, I feel the same way. Is I I feel like one of the primary benefits of the console is what was up until like this last generation with the pros and the X's of it all was supposed to be okay. They took this project and they made it look as good as it can look on this box, right? They made it run as well as it can run on this box, like a tailored experience, for this box, right? And so now it seems like instead of doing that, they are going too much in the PC direction, and making you choose instead of kind of like tailoring it out to make it look and run the best that it can on this box, and taking advantage of all that. And it's probably, I don't know how difficult it is or not, but just from the consumer standpoint, I don't think on the consumer side of it, it probably doesn't matter, right? It's just like that was one of the benefits of having the console. It's supposed to be this is what I thought, one of the main benefits of having the console is not having to go in there and tweak a lot of levers, and
yeah,
move this here, move that there, and try to do it. I mean, I have a game PC, you have one as well, and we both know that you probably spend the first 3 hours after getting a new game, you know not necessarily all 3 hours stacked up behind each other, but you'll play, or maybe I should rephrase, you'll probably play the first 3 hours, kind of hitting the menu
mhm,
every 15, 20 minutes, and just tweaking this and tweaking that and see how it looks. And
yeah,
you'll have your frame rate count, and you'll get to a section and it'll drop, okay, let me tweak that. And you'll probably spend the first 3 hours of the game just doing that. You're going back and forth and tweaking the settings before you kind of just settle on some settings that you're just going to finish the rest of the game with. And just like you, I'm like, okay, these are supposed to be the next gen consoles, and you know, give me the best of whatever you can give. Tailor it to that experience. And what worries me even more than okay, you can only get 60 frames a second, or it can only look really good, is that where these are older games and we can't have both, just like what you're saying, right? These are last generation games, and you're giving me these sliders, like that makes me worry for actual next gen games,
yeah,
to the point where it's like, are we just going to go back to 30 frames a second games, and you don't even get the 60 frames a second option because now it can't even handle that, you know what I'm saying? Because that was the problem with last gen games. Like, some of those games looked really, 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 really good, but you couldn't run them at 60 frames a second because the boxes couldn't handle them, right?
Yeah.
And so, like I said, if we're getting Final Fantasy, which still looks great, I mean, it's only a year old, and that game looks fantastic. And as a matter of fact, I was playing God of War today uh, on the PS5, and it's got and that does the best of both worlds thing that you're talking about, right? It just says 4K 60. When before on the PS4 Pro, you could do 4K, or you could do, in 30 frames, or you could kind of do 1080p, and we'll see how close we can get to 60. Now it just says, okay, 4K 60, you just have the option, and that's it. And I think Ghost of Tsushima does the same thing too, right? It just says you just get both,
Yeah, you just get
which
both.
makes sense to me with an older game, right? Just do both. And so yeah, that's one thing that I really really miss, and I don't think is ever coming back. Like the idea that if you uh, like one of the things that I can remember from the recent past is like the original Splinter Cell game, or even the Resident Evil 4 on, well, with the original Splinter Cell game, it originally released on the Xbox, and it kind of just squeezed every ounce of power on the out of the OG Xbox and looked fantastic. And so then when you got to the PS2 version of it, it didn't look as good, right? Because the Xbox was just much more powerful. But again, they took the Xbox, said we can just make it look this good for this and run this way on this, and we have to go through and tailor it on this version. And the same thing with the GameCube and the PS2 version of like Resident Evil 4,
Yeah.
because in a way, I don't know, maybe this wasn't like a creative choice more than like a necessity, because these boxes were completely different. You couldn't just, you know,
Yeah,
code it for one thing and then again, I'm not a game programmer. I know a little bit about programming, but all this stuff is based on the PC now. So it feels like, and again, I don't know, but it feels like they make a PC version of every game now, and then on the PS4 they just tweak this knob, turn this knob, and on the Xbox they turn that knob and turn that knob, and they're done, right? And it's not a custom version because we no longer have custom hardware anymore.
Yeah.
All the hardware is basically a commodity. And so maybe it never was a creative choice to tailor a game to a box. It was just a necessity because the boxes were custom and had to have tailored software to them. So, maybe I'm just an old man screaming into the void, like I want it the way it used to be, and nobody ever really, on the back end, the developers never really liked it that way. It was just a byproduct of the way things were back then. But circle back around, I agree with you completely. I wish that we did just have no more toggles, no more whatever. Just give me the best of all things that you can, and just call it a day. You know what I'm saying? If the target is now in this generation supposed to be 60, which I believe it is, I think we should be done with anything with 30 frames a second altogether in this generation. Everything should be, that should be the baseline. And if you have to, whatever you need to do to tone down the graphics or level them up or do whatever to get to 60, that's it. And I know we kind of threw ray tracing in the mix at the last minute, and that kind of throws a monkey wrench in the 60 frames a second. Like I have a 3080 in my PC, and it struggles with ray tracing. That's supposed to be the top of the line consumer card, right? So yeah, like I said, we'll just circle back around and let me cut it off right there so I'm not continue to ramble. Yes, I wish we had a tailored experience. Just just squeeze everything you can out of it. Give me the base disc or the base version, and say this is the best we can make it look at 60 frames a second. Here you go.
Yeah, because you think about it too, a lot of it goes into, is the game going to be cross-platform? Which,
Hmm.
and me and you've been talking about for a long time. I should be able to, and I'm glad that, like, Call of Duty and some of the other games are allowing the whole cross play. That's great.
Hmm.
Um, but when you have a game, that's why like Spider-Man, the first one, I mean the first PS4, I can't remember what year it was.
I think it was 2018.
Yeah,
I
so
think
that was,
Spider-Man came out in 2018. I want to say it was, yeah,
yeah, I
it
think it
was
was.
like, yeah.
So, and then God of War and
Hmm.
Tsushima, and even Last of Us 2
Hmm.
didn't play. I'm not going to get into that why. It's nothing to do
Hmm.
with politics.
Hmm. Yeah.
Uh, I love the first game, and I don't think it should have moved past that.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Um, the but Final Fantasy 7, these
Hmm.
games are made for the hardware. They know and how to tailor the machine to what it needs to be. And I think
Hmm.
with they're supposed to be releasing Final Fantasy 7 remake on the Xbox at some point.
Hmm.
It was only supposed to be like a year exclusive and then whatever. So I'm pretty sure a lot of this for the toggling between whatever formats is because the game wasn't made for that system. And I know they're supposed to be doing it
Hmm.
for PC, and it may be a PC thing. It may be actually the PC version that's the reason why they're having to do this. Uh, but when you're having to make a game for multiple consoles, you're actually taking away from the development and um, the cost and everything to spread it out. So you're wasting your money. Not saying you're wasting your money, but you're basically pulling yourself too thin on. So you can't tweak it. You can't
Hmm.
run at its best because it's having to now run on 3 different systems
Hmm.
instead of just one. Um, you know, but and it's easier because technically in a way it's cost prohibited or whatever. They can make it to where
Hmm.
um they're not having to spend as much because they're not having to redevelop the game or
Sure.
completely go in to re-engineer it to run on these 2 systems extra.
Sure.
Uh, but yeah, um it's because I'm just kind of disheartening. I feel that like
Mm.
when you're playing a game, I want to be able to play the game. But I know that like I've said before, and we have disposable income. We work, we have good jobs, and
Sure.
it's like I buy both systems, so I have the best of
Yeah,
both.
yeah.
I don't have to
Yeah.
like go and pick up one or have to wait on something because I can go, well, I want this here, and I'm gonna play it here, and I don't have to
Sure.
wait for it to come out a year later.
Hmm.
I know some people don't are in the financial situation
Sure.
but um,
They're pretty even, with all the talk about, the Series X being the most powerful thing, they're still pretty neck and neck. So
mhm.
uh, you can't go wrong with either. Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I mean, the PlayStation has the more and better exclusives right now. So if those are things if those franchises are the ones that you want to that you prefer to play, then yeah, you definitely want to get a PlayStation and do it. And like just like I said, I miss the days of like the tailored experience and being blown away. And just like just like you mentioned, when you do have, especially with the PlayStation, you do have those PlayStation exclusives that are only on PlayStation. Like a
mhm,
lot of the Xbox exclusives are on the PC, so you still get some of that PC overlap type of stuff. A lot of the PlayStation exclusives are just PlayStation. So like the Spider-Man, they can go in and they can tweaks. They not only can they do it. I mean, any company can do it, but they have the time to do it because they're not making it for anything else but the PlayStation. So they have time to go in there and make sure it looks as good. And even with the new Miles Morales, I haven't downloaded and played it, but I have watched videos where they do have a high frame rate mode, a 4K mode, and then they have a kind of a mixed mode. Oh, no, I'm sorry, the high fidelity mode with ray tracing. They
yeah,
have a 60 frames a second mode, a 60 FPS mode, and then they have a mixed mode where you get some of the ray tracing, you get the 60 frames a second, and they dial down some of the other graphical features. So they have a mixed mode. And again, to me, I would have just been, like, just give me whatever that mixed mode is. That's it. You know what I'm saying? If
Yeah.
you can put the ray tracing in there, get the 60 frames a second, dial down some of the graphic features, but then you want it in the trailers and stuff. You want the most visually impressive thing, so you just throw all those, and then it's all a choice. Can't take away the fact that um, some people might want to choose. Like me, I have a game PC, uh, just like you, and like I don't want to have to do that all the time. If I get something like a Cyberpunk, which I specifically wanted to get a new video card just to play that one, and I do want to go in there and tweak the knobs as much as I can and squeeze as much out of it, to see how good it can look, because it's probably one of the most visually impressive games this year, right? But if I get something else like I can't think of any other game that played on um
Well, like I know that I'm gonna look at getting another graphics card.
um oh, where there's an older one, Final Fantasy 12,
Yeah.
um that just came on Game Pass, right? And so it's Game Pass on the PC and the Xbox. And that was one of the Final Fantasies that I never finished, but I always wanted to, because of all the ties to Final Fantasy Tactics, which is probably my favorite game of all time. And so um, on the Xbox, it plays it runs at 60 frames a second on the Xbox, but it only runs at 1080p. On the
Mhm.
PC, you can, obviously you can crank up the resolution to whatever you want it, but it's always capped at 60. You can crank up the resolution to whatever you want. And so in that situation where I would have the better experience on the PC, it's still just more convenient for me to just play it on the Xbox with the controller and just power it up and do the thing, and then switch between, the quick switch and all that stuff. So, because I don't want to have to tweak, even I can go in there and tweak the settings, and I can just throw that game, I can just throw the 3080 at that, 15-year-old game, and it's going to crush it. But it's still just more convenient for me to power up the Xbox and play it than it is to get in the PC, and the benefit of having this extreme graphics performance is not there. So it's just better to power up the Xbox and do it. But I I um I would like just just closing it out, like, yeah, just like you said, I wish there was the more exclusives and stuff, and that just really took advantage of it and just squeeze it out. And um to go, I mean, do you worry about what the actual next gen games, how they're going to perform? Because it seems like, and we still haven't got a real next gen PS5 or Xbox Series X game. And I've watched some videos that were like, hey man, when these games actually start coming out, are they just going to be 30 frames a second still? You know what I'm saying? Is it just
Yeah.
going to look really, really good, but still
Is
be
it,
30 frames a second? Because I can tell you right now, like, I find I have a hard time going back to 30 now.
yeah.
Like, it's not that easy for me to readjust to going back to 30 FPS, when before, I got these nicer video cards and stuff. I really couldn't, it really didn't bother me. The difference really didn't bother me, 30 to 60. But now it does. It has a great impact on the game that I'm playing, and I would much prefer it to be 60 FPS.
Yeah, it depends on the game, honestly.
Hmm.
But I know like when I'm playing fighting games, I want to be able to have like the best frame rate.
Yeah,
And
those default to 60. Every
yeah,
fighting game, you're not going to get a fighting game that's not
uh,
60 frames a second.
it's really mainly the netcode that you got to worry about and stuff because if
Hmm.
online. But a couple things I wanted to bring up. So um, when I was talking about the fact I want to try to get another graphics card because it's like I have Half-Life Alyx, I got the Oculus Rift S, and um, looks great, but it's not like at its peak. So I want to try to upgrade that. But like that's one of those games that you want to get the graphics on there at everything, all the specs at frame because being able to play that game I mean, I still would love to be able to just play it like Half-Life 2
Yeah,
without the goggles and everything because you
yeah.
know, being somebody with glasses, it's like, yeah, it fits and everything, but it's weird
Hmm.
having this thing in your head and you're moving around. But
Yeah,
it's not one of those things that I'm accustomed to completely yet.
sure, sure.
When you're first walking around with Alex and stuff, and you're on the rooftops and you see that Strider and you just the 3D effect of
Yeah,
it,
it's
that's
mind blowing, man. It's mind blowing.
I'm waiting for like that for other games. I mean, I
Yeah,
want that level of the commitment, not the Beat Saber and these gimmicky games. I want something
sure.
like that to be a
Yeah.
game. Like, give me like Metal Gear Solid One first person, and
Hmm.
playing Snake going through the whole thing first person like that with
Hmm.
that'd be great. Then in like surround sound
Yeah.
7.1 headphones, so I'm like I can hear the soldiers walking around in their breath and
Hmm.
everything.
Yeah.
And man, that would be great. But uh,
Did you try Squadron? It's already.
I haven't picked it up. I mean, I got it on the PS4. I'm gonna pick it up probably in a couple months.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, like you've picked up both just the Xbox. Uh, which one have you picked up? Both systems, the next gen, five and the
Yeah, yeah, I have PS5 and the Xbox Series X. I have the all digital PS5. One because I download all my games now, and two, that was the only one that you could find really
yeah.
is the digital one. If you're looking for a PS5, your chances are, you know, exponentially greater if you just get the digital one. Yeah. And so
Uh,
yeah, I got both of those.
I haven't picked up either yet. I'm waiting.
Yeah,
Of course, with what's going on in the house, so any
sure,
kind of
sure.
gonna have to go towards that.
Yeah.
Uh, but uh, plus, there's not anything like there's out there that's like really
No,
like
and
just
and
draws my
you
getting it.
yeah, yeah, you're 100% right. And after, the excitement was over of me getting them, and the blood stopped pumping, and
Yeah,
I was like, man, I probably should just save my money because because most of the stuff after I got the Xbox that I was playing was just the stuff that I was playing on the Series X. I mean, on the One X
hmm
with similar enhancements. You know what I'm saying? It was all running at 4K. I mean, some games got bumped up to 60 FPS, which I like. But again, once the excitement, the new console generation excitement and the new box smell and all that stuff wore off, I was like, yeah, man, I probably could have waited a couple months,
yeah.
And the same with the PS5 because um, again, it was just the upgrades to the existing game. Like I got Ghost of Tsushima on a sale. I already had God of War. Um, I rationalized it in my head with um, the idea that I was going to upgrade at some point, and most the I mostly play on the Xbox because I don't know, it's just the one I'm more comfortable with. But all of the fighting games are on the PS4. All of the Japanese fighting games, most popular ones, are on the PS4 and are on PlayStation, and only on PlayStation. So I just kind of rationalized it. Well, I play a lot of these games anyway, so whatever, whatever. But yeah, once all the excitement wore off, I was like, yeah, man, I probably could have waited, almost into the summer of this year to, to get these things, and then I would have been totally fine.
Yeah, that's my thing is like if I can wait till June. I mean, there's no incentive for me to buy anything right
Yeah,
now. I mean,
yeah,
if and I'm probably gonna buy Resident Evil 8 or
yeah,
Village on
yeah.
PS4 anyway, so I have all my Resident Evil games on PS4. Uh,
Hmm.
but that's one of the things that kind of hinders things. It's like we if you want to make a game, don't make a cross platform or old past gen. Put 100% of your development into
Yeah,
this.
and
Uh,
but they're never gonna do that.
I know they're not.
It doesn't make business sense for them. It's like, okay, we got what 100 million PlayStation 4s, and we might have 10 million. You know,
Well,
what is it, like
uh,
3 or 4 million
yeah,
PS5s that we say are sold, but maybe only half of those are actually in people's homes that are buying them, and the rest are in scalper warehouses. You know what I'm saying? So, it makes sense financially, and I know we've talked about um, maybe developing a game together, and when we do that, we're going to be having those same conversations. You know what I'm saying? Because we have a passion for this thing, but we also don't want to go broke. We're not trying to rob people of any money,
mhm.
but we don't want to go broke either. So then we would be having those same kind of conversations. Okay, here's this user base, here's that user base. I mean, we'd like to do that, but we put it out on this, and we get one fraction of 1%, and this one, we get more. At the end of the day, it's a practical business decision. I don't think, just like you said, I would like it too. I would like, hey, for somebody to be able, oh, just do this so I can see the thing. But I don't, just
Well,
like you, I don't think they're doing it maliciously. I
no,
think
no,
some people feel like they're doing them, but like me and you, we don't. I know we don't think they're doing it maliciously, and a lot of people try to skew it as though these publishers are trying to do this malicious thing. But I don't think that's the case.
yeah, because it's like one of the things like back in the day we were used to that. It was like
Yeah.
the Nintendo, we had all these games, and then they didn't
Hmm.
remake something. And well, I mean, there was a few games that like, oh yeah, the Ninja Gaiden trilogy or the
Sure.
Super Mario All Stars, all that stuff. But most of the time, it was just like you got the new games on the
Yeah.
new system. You didn't cater back to the old, so you were
Yeah.
making stuff. But
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
the other thing, going back to this too, is another reason why I don't have a reason to rush out to get these systems. Is there's still tons of games that are coming out that on the
Yeah.
current system that I want to play. I mean, I got
Yeah. Lots. The
Persona,
sales, man, the sales are incredible. The,
uh,
the sales and the savings are incredible.
yeah. I mean, um, if, especially if I can get it on the current PS4 or the Xbox Series S, I'm fine. I mean, I don't,
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
have to, or sorry, Xbox, whatever, Xbox One X. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't have to go and rush out to go buy a console that it's going to collect dust for right
Sure.
now.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, uh, you make a sound decision. I
Yeah.
got caught. I got caught up in the hype. I had the extra cash, and really, it was the excitement of hunting it down too.
Oh yeah.
Like just going on there and okay, let me see if let me click on the Best Buy button, and I don't think I'm going to get it, but if I do, I'll go ahead and buy it. But I don't think I'm going to get that type of thing. That's the type of games you play with yourself. I'll click on it. I'm probably not going to get it, and then oh, I got it. It's just all the excitement of
That doesn't mean that I'm not looking at the thing at my job where we can buy stuff through, and I'm like,
yeah,
there, can I get it?
yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
I um, but that was the fun thing. I mean, back in the day, you pre-ordered something and you'd go sit in line and talk with people and
Hmm.
wait for the stuff to come in or midnight release. Like when the Switch came out, I had mine pre-ordered, but like right after we went and saw what was it? What did we see that day?
We went to see Logan that day.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, after Logan, we went over to GameStop and Best Buy to see if you could get one.
Yeah, 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 'cause I do remember that because I was like, oh, let's go see. Because I did not pre-order a Switch. I have no clue why I didn't,
Yeah.
because I was really excited about it. I
Oh yeah.
didn't pre-order one, and we had gotten out of. I can't remember if that was even premeditated, right? I don't think we went into Logan thinking that we were going to do it. I think it was completely after the fact. It was
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's almost midnight. Let's just go
Yeah.
see
Go see. Yeah.
if I can go get a Switch. And like I said, I didn't pre-order it, or maybe I couldn't pre-order it or something.
Hmm.
And yeah, we were just like, let's just go see what the line is looking like over there. And the line wasn't long, and they had plenty of them, and I don't regret it because I put 100 hours into Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
and it was fantastic. I felt like a kid again playing that game. It was great. And yeah, you get caught up in the excitement, and not only until adulthood was I ever able to participate in that. And the first time, really, I mean, actually, the first time that I was actually able to participate in the launch excitement was with the Xbox One. Like I
Mm,
didn't get a 360 at launch, like everybody else. I probably got like I got a GameCube like a year later, on my own dime. I was old enough to have a job for that, like Super Nintendo, like everybody else. You just get it for Christmas. But the Xbox One was the first time where I, went to a launch event and got, got it at launch and all that stuff. So, and then this one, now we have pandemic that kind of soured it a little bit,
yeah,
but there was still some excitement around it. Just um, trying to get the pre-order, and then for the Xbox at least, I was able to get the pre-order and go to Best Buy and pick it up. The PlayStation, required a little more hunting down, and I got it, a little bit after launch, but it's still exciting, and you should never, again, this is a dad podcast, and we're not going to spend money that take away money from the family. If you have the extra money and you put it to the side, you
yeah.
should do something for yourself. You're a dad, you take care of your family, do something for yourself.
Hmm.
But you got caught up in the excitement, and then it's just sitting there, and you're like, oh well, yeah. Again, just like you made the sound decision. It's like it's just sitting there, and you're like, oh shit, I really could have waited like another 6 7 months to get this thing.
Was
But
it Cyber Shadow
that's all
came
good.
out, and I'm like, that's what I wanted to play. I wanted to play a two
Mhm.
Ninja Gaiden style game. I mean, it's like I didn't need a new console to play
Nah,
that.
yeah, you didn't need it.
So, but yeah, no, it's one of those things. Um, it's something to look forward to, and uh,
Hmm.
especially with right now, what is it? They're talking about the analog drift. I think on the on the
Yeah, just all kinds of problems. Yeah, and early adopters. That comes with the territory. You get one of those first, you're gonna get one of the first problems. And I think the PlayStation has some analog drift. I had this issue that I thought was with the Xbox and ended up being with my headset. Evidently, with the headset got a firmware release that solved the issue, and I was just beating my head up against the wall because I thought it was the Xbox that had a problem, and it was compatibility with the Series X that was the issue. So you know, uh, again, all that is afforded. You just wait a couple of months, and just chill out. But that excitement will get you, man. It'll get you.
yeah, it does all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Uh,
It'll hit you hard. So I'm like, you like I said, um, I like billions of other people. I wish the pandemic wasn't going on when all that stuff was right now at all, but especially with events like that. Because yeah, I would have liked to, just like you were saying, wait out in the line with somebody and
yeah, I would have
shoot the shit with people. You
to go do
know,
that. Yeah,
yeah, go hang out. Have people talking about it instead of what would instead of having to everybody having to hunt things down and stuff. That would have been more ideal to do it that way because it is exciting. I so far I haven't gotten tired of it. The launch of a thing like this, and so um, I,
yeah.
I enjoy it.
Might as well, breathe it in when you can. So,
Yeah,
uh, yeah, no, and that's funny because with Edward with all this stuff, I show him all the new trailers for things, and then he'll go and I want that, and then he'll totally forget about it, and then like whenever it comes in, whenever after I've pre-ordered it, he's like, oh wow, this is this. Like whenever Super Mario 3D World with Bowser's Fury came out,
yeah,
I I he was like, "This is mine." I was like, "Buddy, but I got that for mommy for Valentine's Day because she
yeah,
loves."
yeah, yeah,
It's like I want to play it. And she's
yeah,
like, "I haven't got
yeah,
to play it yet. He's been playing it." But uh,
yeah.
but yeah, the only last thing I wanted to talk about was, and then we'll
Sure,
wrap this up, was
sure.
the inclusion of the Yuffie DLC. It looks like it's going to
Yeah,
come right after
yeah,
Cloud
yeah,
falls during the second reactor blow up.
yeah, yeah,
I'm excited. Looks really good.
yeah. It looks cool. But I
Uh,
mean, just like we were talking about earlier, I feel like the enhancement thing
mhm.
could have come out now.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
even if they wanted to push back the Yuffie DLC, even if they wanted to wait to release the Yuffie DLC, that would have been cool because it's probably not going to be in line with the story, right? Oh well, let me ask you: do you think it's going to be in line with the story, or you think it's going to be like a menu option you can select, or
I actually hope it's going to be within the story because, like,
Mhm,
most people are going to play through the game again to experience it again with the new graphics. So,
yeah,
instead of it being like chapter 7, it's going to be, there'll be the new chapter 8, and then 8 is 9
mhm,
and so on.
sure.
And, you know, I look forward to the inclusion of the characters from the villains from Dirge Cerebus. It looks like they're connecting
Yeah,
Dirge.
was that like Angeal or what's the guy?
Yeah, I think so. I can't remember his
What's the
name.
guy's name? Yeah, I forget
The villain of
all
that.
of that.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dirge of Cerberus stuff.
yeah.
I no, it wasn't Angeal. I think it was
The Angel's from that's Zach's
that's
mentor.
Zach's. Yeah, Zach's mentor. Genesis, was that Genesis?
No, Genesis was the other one from that. No, it's
Okay, okay,
and don't kick me for people that I'm a big Final Fantasy VII fan, but I can't
yeah.
remember
I
because
can't
I've
remember
only
the
played
yeah,
Dirge of Cerberus like maybe like twice.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
I think maybe I tried it out once. I don't think put I actually watched a listened slash watched a YouTube video explaining the story of Dirge Cerberus. That's
yeah.
why, you know, that's probably where I got most of my information from. So
Mhm. Yeah. So I think it's really cool. And then the Final Fantasy Ever Crisis that looks like it's going to kind of span everything and do like a 2D.
that one, I'm very interested in that. If they do the whole Final Fantasy VII game
Like that.
in
Yeah.
that style,
Yeah.
yes, I will purchase it.
So I'm
But I
hoping.
don't think that's what they're doing. I think maybe
Yeah, I think it's going to be
they're
like.
doing like a section from each
Yeah.
game that you play. And I was like, all right, man, because if I'm not mistaken, that was one of the ones that just said iOS and Android.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't think it's going to be the whole final. But hey, I would buy that. I would buy it. I don't. Maybe they're just testing the waters to see. But
Yeah. Release
yes,
on
I
the
would buy a
Switch.
Final Fantasy VII
Yeah.
remake, or whatever they want to call it, remake, demake, or whatever they want to call it in that style, the whole game in that style. Yes, I would purchase that.
Well, like what they did with Dragon Quest 11,
Yeah,
where you
yeah,
play the full-on graphics version, or you go back
yeah,
to the 16-bit version, which is
yeah.
cool.
That was fun. I like that, and that's
Uh,
on Game Pass too. Game Pass
yeah.
is great, man.
So last thing I wanted to mention, and we can talk about this on another bonus episode.
Mhm.
Uh, the I really like Square's engine for Final Fantasy VII. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah, it's nice.
a lot of good games if they utilize it right.
Hmm.
One of the two games that I'd love to see them utilize that engine for would be one Parasite Eve, a remake of Parasite Eve
Yeah,
running
that'd be cool. That'd be
with
cool.
that engine.
Yeah, that'd be
That'd be
really
really
cool.
cool. I mean,
Yeah,
I think it would be amazing.
yeah,
Um,
that'd be cool.
Chrono Trigger. I think Chrono Trigger would
Yeah, Chrono
do
Trigger would be
well
cool.
to that.
Yeah.
And the one thing I did notice too was it looked like there was combo attacks with Yuffie,
With
and
the Yuffie stuff, yeah, it looks like some new mechanics there.
so
Yeah,
I'm like, that'll be cool because maybe they're working on something for like a Chrono Trigger sequel. I'm just
sure.
speculating, but that'd be great because double checks and triple checks,
Mhm.
being able to do that with that 3D kind of mechanic and being able to switch,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
perfect.
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
So, but yeah, I'm excited more for that than I am anything. So we'll see how it goes, and
Yeah,
but yeah.
that'd be really legit.
So
I'll play that. I will play that in that style.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. But brother, thanks for joining
Yeah,
for this
it's legit.
bonus episode. I'll work on trying to get it together and upload it sometime.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that's pretty
thanks
cool.
guys for listening in, ladies, everybody. We'll hope to have more of these besides our regular actual episodes every Sunday. So
Yeah,
until then, take care.
yeah, it's all right.